Everyone, Vita is afraid to hear back with another How to Play. Today we're looking at how to play this cool little game called Bugs on Rugs. This is from KTBG, Kids Table Board Games, designed by Peter C. Hayward, art by Sana Tene, and it plays 2 to 5 players in about 20 minutes, and it's for ages 8 and up. This came out in 2019, I believe it was, and yeah, it's one of their earlier games, but it's pretty cool. In it, you get a big deck of cards with different bugs on rugs. You get a start player token, which has a couple of bugs, and on the other side, a 1. And you got this end card, which is going to determine when the game ends. And you can see how you're going to set it up depending on the player count. For 2 players, you're going to create 3 even piles, fairly even piles of cards. And you're going to put this under the first pile and stack up the other 2. For 3 players, you're going to put it basically right in the middle. For 4 players, it's the same as 3 players, 3 even stacks, but it goes 2/3 of the way down instead of 1/3. And for 5 players, you create 4 even stacks and put it 3/4 of the way down. So you put it on top of the bottom stack. Hopefully that makes sense. Here's your back with a rug design. And for the cards, you'll see you have different bugs, which I'll go over what they all do, but you have the larvae, mosquitoes, which are on concrete, but not on rugs. You'll see all the other bugs have a rug in the background. You got ladybugs. I need to mix up. You got butterflies. You got fireflies. And again, some bugs have different colors in the background for rugs. This one has an orange and a pink. Some have the same. Ladybugs all have the same. You got spiders. You got beetles. Not cockroaches, but beetles. 7. You got 9 total, I do believe. What else are we missing? We got ants. And we also got mosquitoes. So those are your 9 different bugs. I'm going to put all these aside and explain the scoring. After, let's just explain how you play the game first. And I'll just explain that. First of all, you get 10 of most bugs. You get 10 ants, 10 beetles, 10 butterflies, 10 fireflies, 10 ladybugs, 10 larvae, 10 mosquitoes. Then you have 11 flies and 9 spiders. The start player marker and the end card. You also get a score pad. You can see the scoring here. You get a score for different bugs. Most points wins. If there's a tie, there's a bit of a tiebreaker, which I'll explain after. And in the rules here, they actually have a bugopedia. Everything you need to know about how each bug scores and plays. So it's kind of cool. And the rules are pretty simple. You're going to set up the end card based on the player count. So let's say we're doing 3 players. 3 players, you're just going to split the deck in half. Put the end card in here. And that is that. Then you will deal 1 bug to each player to start off their hand. And you can obviously look at that, but keep secret. So I got a ladybug. This guy has a mosquito, the fly. No, that's a mosquito. The green one is the fly, I believe. Yes. So this is a fly. This one is the mosquito on the concrete. So that's what we got. So then what we're going to do is whoever is the start player, and we're actually going to we're going to reveal 1 card. We're going to put it over here onto what is called the wall. To start off the wall. And nothing happens with that card right now. choose a start player however you want. Give him the start player marker. The start player will then deal cards from the deck, 2 bugs per player plus 1 extra to the middle table called the floor. So we'll do 2, 4, 6, 7 cards with 3 players. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Starting with the start player, you will draw or draft one of these cards into your hand, and then you go clockwise, and then I will choose, they choose, they choose. Once they choose, they get to go again, and then we go counterclockwise. 1 card will be left over. That card will go over here onto the wall. It will escape, and it will trigger its wall ability. Each card has a scoring condition on the top and a wall ability on the bottom, which I'll explain after. Let's just go with this right now. So maybe I will take the ladybug. This player's gonna look at their hand. They got a larva. Maybe they'll just take a spider. Then it goes to this player. They got a mosquito. Maybe they take a mosquito. Then they get to go again. So maybe now they take a butterfly. It goes to this guy. Maybe he takes ladybug. And then it comes to me. And maybe I take... maybe I take the fly. The mosquito, whatever is left over, goes here into the wall. It flies away. And we activate this ability on the bottom, which I'll explain in a minute. So once you do that, the ability for this one, the mosquito, is that in turn order, each player must swap a bug from their hand with a wall bug, and they have to be different. So we would each take turns swapping a bug from our hand with one of these. It has to be different. And if you don't have anything that's different, you have to show your hand, and then I guess you do have to. It says if it's impossible, you must show your hand to prove it. So if all you had was mosquitoes and flies in your hand, you can swap anything. Then you just don't swap anything. Otherwise, you have to swap something. So we'll do that action. I did it. Then the next player is going to do it. They have to swap a card. Maybe to swap a larvae with a fly. There's a reason for that. And then this guy's going to do something. He cannot swap a mosquito, so he has to swap a butterfly for this one, for better or for worse. Whoops. And make sure you put it back into the same order. This is important because later on you might do an action where every player adds a card here and takes a card from here. That will happen with a certain bug. So then, this goes to the next player, and you rinse and repeat. So you draw 2 cards per player, plus 1 extra. Every player drafts a card. And starting with this player, going this way, and then we go back the other way, draft the second card. The last one goes onto the wall. We activate its ability, and we do it again. We do this until that end card comes out, and that will end the game, which I'll explain once in a minute. So let's talk about the different abilities for each bug. I put the cards aside, I think. I thought I did anyways. Yeah, I did. To explain the different wall abilities. So, and scoring abilities as well, scoring conditions. So let's do that. The butterfly, and the scoring condition list on the top. The butterfly will score 1 point for every bug that you have, including butterflies that you only have exactly 1 of. So if I only have 1 butterfly, I get 1 point. If at the end of the game I also have just 1 spider, I also get 1 point for that one. So, and if I have multiple butterflies, I would say I have a butterfly in my hand. Let's say I had 2 butterflies and I had 1 spider. This butterfly would score this one 1, and this one would score this one 1, as far as I know. So I'd get 2 points. But there's 2 butterflies, so I don't score those individually. If I had 1, I get 1 and 2. But this, I get 1 and 2. Hopefully that makes sense. So that's the butterfly. Now the wall ability of the butterfly is when you put it on the wall, like this one that's here, its start player would choose a hand from their card, but not a butterfly or a larva, from their hand, and you would activate that ability. So I could sort the spider, or not the spider, the beetle, sort this to everyone, and activate its power. So the ability of this butterfly is that I get to use the ability of a bug that I have in my hand without discarding it. And then this would, of course, that's when this goes into the wall. Moving on to the firefly. The firefly is going to score you 1 point for each different rug color you have. So the rug is in the background here. And so if I had this for my hand, I would get 1, 2, 3 points because those are different colors. If I had 2 fireflies, I would get 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I would also get 1, 2, 3, 4. Each firefly would score individually. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Just looking at the colors. So pretend these ladybugs are 1. So that would be 8 points, is what I would get for that. That is how the firefly scores. The firefly's wall ability, if it gets put onto the wall, is in turn order, its player would choose a card from their hand and put it onto the floor. So basically, you're going to be restocking the floor. You're going to choose a card from your hand, put it back out onto the floor, basically restocking the floor. So we would have none of these cards here. And if this firefly ends up here, we would each take a card from our hand and put it out onto the floor. And then next time, we would just take whatever cards we need to refill. And we have a lot of larvae, unfortunately. But that's the way that one works. Alright, moving on to the next card is the larvae, in fact. The larvae will score you 3 points if you discard a mosquito to hatch. So if I have a mosquito in my hand, if I have a mosquito, I can discard this, hatching this one and giving me 3 points. So one mosquito give me 3 points for a larvae if I have a mosquito and I use it for that. The ability, the wall ability of this larvae is, if you have one larva on the wall, it does nothing. But if the second one ends up on the wall, then you will discard them to the bottom of the deck and take a new deck, a new bug from the deck, and put it on the wall and use its ability. So one larva does nothing on the wall, but if the second one enters the wall, then you take them, put it back to the bottom of the deck, draw a replacement card, and use this ability instead. Unless it's a larva, which you do nothing. So there is that. Now also, additionally, if at any point in time you have 2 larvae in your hand, you can discard them, hatch them by discarding them to the bottom of the deck, and take one bug from the wall into your hand. So I could do that if I have 2 larvae or larvae. Now, the next bug to talk about is the ant. The ant scoring is, if you have the most ants at the end of the game, you get 5 points each. If you have the second most, it's 3 points each, and everyone else just gets 1 point each. If you have none, you get nothing. The wall ability is that you will draw the next bug from the deck and add it to the wall. So if this was here on the wall, if I put this on the wall, I just draw the next one, which is an ant, and do that ability. So in this case, I just add another one. That's an ant as well. Let's just add something else. And then we would do the ability of that. So the ant lets you just use a different bug's ability, which is fine. So that's the ant. Moving on, we have the spider, the itsy bitsy spider, right here. Spiders by themselves are not worth any points. However, you can score 7 points for this spider by discarding a fly to feed it. And flies are worth 2 points if they're not fed to a spider. But if I discard this, feed it to a spider, it turns a spider into 7 points. So it's worth collecting spiders and food to feed them, flies to feed them. Otherwise, this spider, instead of being 7 points, it's 0. So you can choose 2 points and 0, or you can choose get rid of that one and get 7. It's really up to you. Now, the ability, the wall ability of the spider, as you can see here, is swapping cards. It is, in turn order, each player chooses and places a bug from their hand at the end of the wall and takes the bug from the start of the wall to the hand. So this is my hand. I can put this here on the end and take this one into my hand. And the next player would put one here, and they would take this one, and so forth. That's the way that one works, and that's why you want to keep things in order. Then, the next card we'll talk about is the fly here. Flies are going to be worth 2 points for any that you have in your hand not attached to a spider. And the ability is, for the wall power, is all players at the same time take a card from their hand and pass it to the person on their right. But never, ever the bug you just got. So if I just got this butterfly, I cannot pass this one. I can pass something else, but not this one. The beetle has the same power, except you're passing a card to the left. And again, this is the wall power. Wall powers are only activated if the bug ends up on the wall. In some cases, I mean, in the case of the beetle, you're probably not going to see that one on the wall very often. Same with the spider. But certain ones you will probably see on the wall more often. The power of the scoring condition for the beetle is if you have an even number, 2, 4, 6, 8, etc., you get 5 points each. But if you have an odd number like 1, 3, 5, or 7, you only get 2 points each. So you're going to want to have at least 2 of these or 4. You want to get an even number, preferably, because it's worth a lot more points than just an odd number. And then, I talked about the wall power, which is you're passing a card to the left. Then we have the ladybugs. The ladybugs, which I thought I had in my hand, if you get 4 ladybugs, and exactly 4 ladybugs, you get 25 points. However, if you get any other number, if I get 2 or 3 or 6, it's only 1 point each. So you want to try to get 4 exactly if you can. And I mean, it's not that difficult. If you can just draw 4 and not draft the other ones, then you get 25 points. But other players might catch on to you and might try to prevent you from doing that by drafting them themselves. And the ability listed on the bottom here is in turn order, each player will draw the next bug from the deck into their hand. So it has a good ability too if it ends up on the wall, because everyone just gets to draw a card into their hand, whatever that might be, from the top of the deck. Finally, we have the mosquitoes. Those nobody likes mosquitoes, right? Mosquitoes do not score anything individually. However, if I can find another one, if you take 2 mosquitoes, you can turn them into something else. So if I had 1 beetle and I wanted a second one to get 10 points instead of just 2 points, I can turn these 2 into 1 beetle. So 2 mosquitoes can act as any one other bug. Now, if I don't have a bug in my hand, I cannot use it as that bug. So if I don't have a beetle, I can't just turn it into a beetle. I have to have a bug to pair it up with, basically. It has to be a bug that you already hold. But you can also use mosquitoes to hatch the larvae right here to give you 3 points. So you might have to choose what you do with them, what's better for you. And the wall power of the mosquito is that every player must swap a bug from their hand with a wall bug. And again, they have to be different. So I think we looked at that one already. Or is it the same power as another one? It's similar to another one, but it's a little bit different. So each person would get to take a bug and swap it with one that is on the wall at random. So that is the game. I apologize if this took a lot longer than it should have. It's a really cool, neat, little simple game where you're drafting cards and using abilities of whichever one is left over. So again, put some cards on the table. We each draft two, going one way and then going back the other way. The leftover card, let's say it's this ant, goes over here. You activate its ability, then you do it again. Once the end card comes out, the game will come to an end, as you might expect. And if I can find it, there it is. And there's two ways this could happen. That I explain very quickly. If you're doing a wall power and you have to draw a card, let's say we have to draw a card from the top of the deck for the wall power, and it's an end card, you just put this aside and draw another card instead in its place, because it does not count as a bug, and then you do one final round. If you're drawing cards here to add for your next round and it comes out, you discard it and do your normal drawing, and then this will be the final round. So either way, once it comes out, we're going to have one final round. Then you're going to score your points by the scoring conditions like I did here. Most points wins. If there happens to be a tie, there is a tiebreaker, and that is if two people have the same score for the highest score, then you're going to look at who has the highest score for any one bug type. And then if that's still tied, you look at the next one. So let's say if we were tied for 56, we'd see who had the highest score for bug. That would be me. I had 25 for ladybugs, so I would win the game if there was a tie. So that's the game. Pretty simple. Cards are very nice quality. Linen finish, nice stock. I like it. Pretty fun artwork. It's cool. That is that. I know this took a lot longer than it should have. I apologize. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Comment, like, subscribe. I should point out this one is from a few years ago, so it's a little harder to find, but not impossible, I would say. So yeah, see ya.